Oh, of course you can. So happy. You don't have anything. Oh.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
That's
we're
so
sorry, but
great.
thank you guys. Great.
Yay for the two sisters.
Yes.
My goodness. So good. All right, Chair, help me. Okay. All right, we're down one counselor. I call the assembly to order today and recognize Counselor Jubenville for our prayer and pledge. It's you today.
Just talk off the cuff. Got it all, you know.
Too long.
When the carols have stilled, when the star-topped tree is taken down, when family and friends are gone home, when we are back to our schedules, the work of Christmas begins. To welcome the refugee, to heal a broken planet, to feed the hungry, to build bridges of trust, not walls of fear, to share our gifts, to seek justice and peace for all people, to reflect on how we've treated others, to be kind and compassionate to all. Merry Christmas and happy and healthy New Year to all. Amen.
Amen. Well done.
Allegiance to the flag of the United
States.
and to the republic which stands
One nation.
the God.
We have copies of this.
I was gonna say, can I use that?
Next one.
Spread those words across the record today. All right, we're here to comply with the Massachusetts Constitution and the general laws relative to the tabulation and certification of votes cast in the November 30th special election to fill a vacancy in the House of Representatives. So I will recognize Councilor Duff for a motion to record certification that Jamie M. Belcedo has been elected representative in the general court from the 4th Essex State Representative District.
With great pleasure. Thank you. So nominate.
A motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
There will be a swearing in at 1:30. Would you all wish to join us to swear officially Representative-elect Belcedo into office? I recognize Councilor Kennedy for a motion to record advice and consent for the financial warrant.
Still moving, Governor.
Second.
There's a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
I recognize Councilor DiPaolo for a motion to record advice and consent for the pending list of notaries public and justices of the peace.
So moved.
Okay.
There's a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye. I recognize Councilor Devaney for a motion to record advice and consent for the appointment of Christine D. Anthony to the position of Associate Justice of the Probate and Family Court.
Pleasure. I'm very happy to make the motion. So qualified, and this is such a sensitive court. And she has devoted all of her legal life to probate and family. And the one thing that stood out for me, her caring for children. And she has followed them through even when cases are over. I can't say enough about her, and I'm very pleased to present her. The other thing is, I want to tell you that at the hearing, at the beginning, I introduced all the counselors. And I'm sad to report that there were only 2 counselors that attended her hearing. And she deserved better. I just want to say that for the record. So that's it. I put her name in motion.
It was there,
Right
there. I was there.
I said there.
Well, sit to the chair.
First of all, initially, after 5 minutes, you were on Zoom. 2 people, and that was it. But I'm just saying, you're only required to come once a week. You should be in your chair from the beginning to end for the hearing. I'm not going to be voted miscongeniality of the council.
For sure.
But I think it's important. I think it's important that you have a duty. You have a duty, first of all, to make sure you investigate, that you take that resume out of the envelope and read it and come once a week to the hearing and do your job. And I'm saying, I have not seen 8 counselors from beginning to end to a hearing. And none of you can dispute that because that is the absolute truth. I don't find any joy in saying this publicly, but I'm asking you, please, with the new year coming, come, stay. This is not a guest appearance. This is someone, the most important day of someone's life as a nominee. Besides being married, having a baby, this is important. And every counselor should give respect to that person from beginning to end, not come, not leave, not walk out, not sit and talk. That's what I'm saying. And I'll tell you, last year there was a judge that was here as a witness, and she called me afterwards and she says, Marilyn, what's going on? They don't stay, they walk around, they're not here, they don't stay till the end. That was not how it was when I was sworn in. And I said, times have changed. I said, I'm not my brother's keeper. So I find no joy in saying it, but I'm saying it publicly. I am very proud. I'm very proud to put her name in for that. But I'm just saying that at the end of the hearing, how many councilors were sitting in a chair?
There is a motion.
If I may,
Is there a second?
Left after I made the announcement, you walked out.
You're done.
There's a motion. There's a
I made the
second.
motion.
Is there a second?
second, but I'd like to respond to that. And I don't usually. But I just want to say that I have at least a 99% attendance record at assemblies and hearings. And so does everybody in this chamber. It's very, very rare for a counselor not to be here for a chamber. I can guarantee you, if anybody were to check, nobody has under a 95% attendance record. Period.
Beginning to end.
Councilor Ianella and then Councilor Juvenile.
Just to very briefly respond, I was not here for that hearing last week. And if that hearing was this week and I had the same commitment, I would not be here this week. I had a commitment, I had a doctor's appointment at the Brigham Hospital. Those appointments get to our age here, you can't cancel them and go for next week. If I canceled, it would have been another 9 months. So I was at a doctor's appointment at 1 o'clock. That's why I was not here. And like Councilor Kennedy says, we're all here all the time.
Councilor Jubenville.
Let me repeat my last bit of my prayer. To be kind and compassionate to all. Well, I'm glad the counselor from Watertown takes no joy. She gets up and says it in public with the press here for her own benefit. When counselors aren't here, a lot of times they're in the building doing other governor's council duties. But they've satisfied their due diligence with every candidate. I do it, and I know every other counselor does too. And just because we're not here to listen to counselor from Watertown ask the same question she asks every week, actually, they're not questions, they're statements she gives to the candidate. So criticizing the counselors in public to me is a show of disloyalty to all counselors that sit here and that travel some from great distances in the state to get here every week. So as far as I'm concerned, I think counselors do a good job. We all have our own way of doing it. Some sit in diners, some call nominees, some sit with nominees, and some do it on the phone. And everybody gets to satisfy their own self as to how they vote on a counselor, on a nominee. They don't do it because Councilor Jubenville wants them to do it or Councilor Devaney wants them to do it. They do it because they're satisfied with their due diligence and they make their vote. I don't criticize anybody for voting any way they vote on this council. I do not do that. When I first started, it bothered me sometimes that people voted in a different way. I learned it's none of my business how councilors vote. I'm one vote. I do my due diligence, and every other counselor that I know does too. Thank you.
Let me just, we have a motion and a second. I just want to conclude the conversation by saying that every nominee or even applicant to be considered to serve in a position in the judicial branch is involved in a very rigorous process. It starts with a blind application. The application, if then made through that process, goes through a judicial commission of their peers across the Commonwealth to not only review the credentials, but also investigate witnesses on a list and off a list to understand the person's reputation and ability. That person then is vetted through the governor's chief legal counsel and then ultimately receives, if to that level, an interview with the governor and lieutenant governor. And after that, a nomination can take place. When that nomination is then made, it is then vetted by this council, an independent, each one of you elected in your role to vet thoroughly, as you do, the nominations made by the governor. And I can attest that every single member of this council does their work and beyond to make sure that these individuals are worthy of your confirmation. You do the work that is presented to you and you go beyond because you know the people in your communities and in your districts. And I am grateful for your service to the people of this Commonwealth in making sure that we have the very best people serve in our judicial branch. And I am proud of the work that we do together. With that, we now have a motion and a second. We may begin the roll call.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, thank you. I recognize Councilor Hurley for a motion to record advice and consent for the appointment of James Manitsas to the position of Associate Justice of the Superior Court.
I rise to, thank you.
There's a motion and a second. Heard that.
I rise to cheerfully and with all sincerity make this motion. In a letter from Attorney Mark Aronson, first met Attorney Manitsas in a case that was very difficult. It involved both a civil and a criminal aspect. And I would just quote, his representation of his client was exemplary. He's not only capable as a trial lawyer, but also organized, prepared, and most importantly, respectful. And that's what we need on the bench. He treated the court, opposing counsel, and the parties with respect, dignity, and patience. Indeed, while he represented his client zealously, he always got along well with other attorneys involved in the case. He had a good grasp of the rules of evidence and the substantive legal issues. And I would hope that we have more nominees like this. Thank you.
We have a motion and go. Second, yes, Councilor Devaney, then Councilor Jubenville.
I just want to echo, Councilor Hurley said it all, and I second that. Just a most sincere, respectful person, so qualified. He has the age, the experience, and I love the pro bono work he's done. He has a good heart. He's compassionate, he has empathy. That's what I look for too. And he's going to be a wonderful addition to the Superior Court. I also want to say, after we vote on this, I want to thank Bob Ross, and I will take that up, the items that I tabled last week, okay? I'll be very brief on it.
Okay.
After we take this motion.
Councilor Jubenville.
You, so Hurley, where was that nominee born?
Holyoke, second city in all of the world. Field.
He also, before he started doing lawyering, he spent a good amount of time giving people housing in Holyoke. No easy tasks. And he did that with great success. He really saved a lot of people and got them into homes, which I think shows the character of the man. So it was a pleasure for me to vote for him.
Thank you.
We may begin the roll call.
Yes.
Iannelli.
Yes.
Council Duff.
Yes.
Kennedy.
Yes.
Us. Pleasure, yes.
Yes.
Thank you.
Yeah, I want to thank Bob Ross. He always comes through. He's also, you ask someone and the response is so quick. I didn't vote on 3 items on our schedule last week. And so I do want to, for the record, so that you'll know, It was on the general capital projects, which includes schools and development and all that. And then the other was 270 that for federal assisted housing. And also 271 was local aid for our municipalities, for our schools and libraries and so forth. And I just want to say, this is Bob Ross. So, I mean, I can't thank him enough. He has always been there. No matter what I ask, he comes through. So I want to recognize him. Thank you.
Just want to conclude by thanking you for your hard work over the course of this past year. We've been in a challenging time dealing with the impacts of COVID that went into 2021, but it didn't deter each and every one of you from doing your work as part of this council. It's not easy, it's challenging, and you persevered once again. And given that last holiday season was a lot different, and now that 80% of people are fully vaccinated and over about 25% are boosted on top of that, people feel a lot more comfortable gathering. And I just wish each one of you much joy and happiness over the course of the upcoming weeks with your friends and your family and your community. I know our next assembly is January 5th, but I do hope to see you in the upcoming weeks, and I know the governor would like to see you as well. So thank you. That concludes our business today.
Governor.